and thanks for joining this afternoon. It's really exciting for us at the forum to have Centrical and Webhelp here. It's the first time they've joined us and the first time they're going to share the story around kind of their approach to employee engagement. And we get to hear Webhelp's story around how they're rolling out this technology and really getting some positive traction within the organisation, but some excellent results as well. So it's a pleasure to be joined by Ian Chappell from Centrical. So say hello, Ian.
Hi everyone. Hi. Yeah, so we're going to be talking around how we take on engagement. I know the messaging around engagement's been a lot different over the last 2 years with COVID and work, going back into the office and how do we keep people engaged. But obviously a lot of this, a lot of the stuff, the great stuff the forum does around WFM. So that's a different style of engagement, a lot of the work-life balance stuff, but we're going to talk about how we do things slightly different. And it's great to have the guys here from Webhelp to talk us through how they've had success implementing Centrical. So yeah, so Chris, do you want me to get started?
Yeah, and I just wanted to say just a shout out to the guys from Webhelp as well. So thank you, Thomas and Joanne, for joining us and sharing this story. It means a lot. I think our membership is based around community and based around sharing and learning from real life examples around how people deploy technologies where a lot of our members and the people on the call today are going to actually get a lot of value. So, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy diaries to spend some time with us. It's really appreciated.
Thank you for having us, and we're happy to share our experience with Centrical and with the overall space with engagement management.
Perfect. So, Ian, over to you, sir.
Okay, thanks very much. Thanks, guys. Right. So, so first of all, I'm going to just give a little bit around, I guess, the why and the how. And I know to a lot of you, Centrical is going to be new. You might not have heard of us at all. You might have a little bit of an idea about what we do. But in a nutshell, what we're looking to do is make people's lives better when they're at work. Again, there's been a lot of talk around engagement, around people want a good work-life balance. That is crucial, but people still have to work. So how do we do that? Those 4 items there in the pink are our key pillars of the platform. Okay, so we like to give employees a full view of their performance, how they're performing against their KPIs, and how we put them in control of developing those skills and KPIs and where to focus their attention. We use micro-learning. So again, this might be a new concept to people who aren't maybe involved in L&D, but in essence, micro-learning is a short, sharp burst of information or key points that you need to remember for maybe a process or a KPI or a skill that you might have within your business. So I like to think of micro-learning as, if I buy a new piece of electrical equipment, I generally won't read the manual. I'll probably go on YouTube and watch a 1 or 2 minute video. That in essence is micro-learning. Okay, so then what we do is we combine all this together in the flow of work. But what we also do is we underpin it with gamification. So what we get quite a lot when we get our inbound leads or we're speaking to prospects at events like the forum or elsewhere is we want to implement gamification. But what does that really mean? What is it that you're looking to gamify? And what we do is we gamify the learning, the performance management, okay? But what we also do is we give managers, and I think this is just as important, we give managers a view as to where to focus their attention. So within Centrical, we have actionable insight for managers when they log in to say, okay, Ian CSAT's dropped this week, or since yesterday. You might want to go away and focus on that as the first thing you do this morning. But we also give them actionable insight into when someone's done a good job. So Chris's CSAT's improved since yesterday. Go and give him a pat on the back and for a job well done. So again, we can talk through a little bit more as we go through. But first of all, I want to show you obviously where we sit. This is something that you guys will all be familiar with. It's workforce engagement management, which has changed over the years, and it's broken down to these 3 key pillars. So the 3 key pillars are things that we're all familiar with. My background was workforce management before joining Centrical, so I understand the importance of that from an engagement perspective. Given that schedule flexibility, holidays, giving people different skills to work on to keep them engaged. But we firmly sit in the employee performance and engagement part, okay? And how do we do that? So we have an approach as mentioned in the previous slides, where we bring performance, learning, and engagement together and then underpin that with gamification. And over the next couple of slides, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we do that, how we coexist within an existing ecosystem within a business to drive that employee experience in the right direction. And the end goal is obviously to improve the business outcomes. Okay, so we do see ourselves as an employee engagement and performance hub. And again, I'll talk a little bit around how we do that as we go through. And then what I'll do is I'll hand over to Thomas and Ewan from Webhelp, and they'll go through the really cool stuff about the results they've seen from implementing Centrical and the initiative that they've got coming up. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about leveraging what you may already have in your business and putting Centrical on top of that to drive business impact. So what you'll see in that first column there is something that you'll all be familiar with, your contact center, your business's ecosystem, all of the big players there, you know, telephony, WFM, QM, LMS, CRM, and so on. You might have other bits and pieces in your tech stack, but this is just a view as to, you know, a general tech stack and what that could look like. So where does Centrical come in? So we come in by bringing the actionable performance data from these systems, okay? And we have different elements within that circle in the middle there that we can help improve the learning, help improve the engagement, and help improve the performance. So if we look at, first of all, the AI-driven coaching. So this, again, is what I mentioned earlier. It's going to give the manager a view as to where to first spend their time when they log in on a morning, get your top 4 or 5 insights in your team about where there's been a performance drop or a performance improvement. We have adaptive micro-learning. So adaptive micro-learning is what I mentioned earlier in terms of those short, sharp bursts of learning content that are related to maybe a process or a product or a KPI. But when we talk about adaptive, Centrical has an AI engine in the background that can not only pick up where the gaps are in the knowledge, but it can also trigger maybe when I haven't been asked a question within Centrical for a while as to, you know, what I need to be asked. So as an example, if we use adaptive micro-learning, you know, me, Chris, and Piers and Thomas are all on the same team. We all have the same learning linked to our role, but we'll all have different knowledge gaps. So once we complete our micro-learning as a team, we can then be pushed personalized micro-learning content to where our knowledge gaps are. So we start to personalize that learning journey and personalize that employee development. We also there have is the ability to have employee well-being. So again, you know, we know that over the last 2 years, the workplace has been turned on its head. We're now thankfully out of the back of that, but it has brought up some new challenges around, you know, people still maybe might be working from home, people still, you know, just on that journey to return to the office. What we can do in Centrical is we can build out an employee well-being check. So we can, you know, send a daily view as to, you know, how are you feeling? How's your workload? Do you need anything from your manager? But likewise, we can build out some collaborative things as well, such as challenges and team chats, you know, to keep that team spirit up. We then go into the engagement, and, you know, another part of the engagement would be around rewards and recognition. So again, this is where we can start bringing in some of the game mechanics and the gamification elements, things like levels, badges, kudos, even virtual currency that you can go off and spend in a store on a pair of, you know, AirPods or a flat screen TV. And then we have the analytics and the goal setting. So the analytics is just an analytics suite that we have, which will give managers and I guess BI teams a view as to exactly how well Centrical is working within your business. So, you know, are people engaged with the training? Are people completing their micro-learning? Is the coaching sessions that are being promoted by the platform being actioned by the manager? But also we can then start to see, okay, do we see people becoming disengaged? We can use a lot of the different metrics and analytics within Centrical to now start identifying potential attrition risks. And this is in its early phases, but we've been doing some work with some of our existing customers. And the success rate of this is really high. You know, it's something that we are going to be doing a lot more on with our customers and with our prospects over the coming weeks and months, because obviously this is still a big topic in our world around how do we keep people engaged, identify when they're not engaged, and stop that attrition. Okay, and then we have dynamic goals. So we have the ability to set goals based on the individual, even if they're in a group of, maybe 10 or 15 other agents in the team. Each agent can have their own dynamic goal set depending on where they are, either with their learning journey, with their experience in the business, or even if they're onboarding new skills and so on. Okay, so that's what we do. We bring the data in from your ecosystem. We give different actionable performance data and different things we can give to the managers and the employees or agents, to have a better experience. And then this then drives into the business impact. So I'll talk a little bit around these and what we do. So first of all, onboarding has become a really hot topic with the people that we speak to now. We've got people getting maybe 3, 4, or 5 job offers where, generally they might have gone for a role in their local town, in the contact center or office. Now they might be applying for 3 or 4 jobs in different parts of the country. It's remote, it's home-based. So they get different options on the table. Now, what we now have is the ability to have a pre-onboarding view. So, maybe the week before, you get an introduction through Centrical to the CEO, meet your colleagues. This is what the role entails. This is what you're going to do in weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 of training, and so on. Then when we bring people on board, okay, and we get them into the classroom, whether it's virtual or sitting in an actual classroom, we can make the learning fun, okay? So we can gamify the knowledge retention, okay? So we've built out the learning in the classroom. We then have micro learning in Centrical where you can get reminders and go in and complete that micro learning after the classroom training to embed what you've done, okay? Again, if you gamify that, you get a really high uptake as well on the completion. We have the boost to productivity. So again, as previously mentioned, let's give employees a full real-time view as to how they're performing and what they can do to improve. Okay, if they need to go and complete this piece of micro learning because their CSAT or their productivity or another one of their KPIs has dropped, let's put it in front of them there and then. They can learn within the flow of work, and then they can put that knowledge into practice on their next call or interaction with a customer, and then gamify it. Okay, if people are going to win something because they're doing what's expected of them, they're learning or they're working well, let's put some gamification on the back of that to keep them on the hook. And then increase learning engagement. So this is a thing that we get quite a lot with L&D teams, is that we already have an LMS. Okay, yeah, that's great, but generally with an LMS platform, the engagement's quite low. So it's seen sometimes, I don't really want to go and do my LMS training or my LMS learning. So what we can do is we can link Centrical to LMS to gamify that. Okay, so we can improve the engagement quite a lot and put that around completion and success rate, and then we can get through that LMS content through and help that with gamification. We then have the coaching effectiveness. So again, we've got actionable insight into where to focus, who to focus on. As an example, we were speaking to one of our outsourced customers, and what they say is that they use Centrical quite effectively in, obviously they do what a lot of contact centers do, and they would backfill a team manager or team leader position with an agent. But obviously, the best agents don't always make the best TMs. So what we can also do now is we can give the managers coaching effectiveness and show them where to focus their attention. So, in the hybrid remote working headaches, if you add that to the picture as well, it can be quite a difficult transition into that new role. So we can help with that and give a bit more of a consistent coaching approach as well. Increase organizational agility. So the ability to upskill and reskill agents at skill and quickly to meet whatever the demands within the business is. Have you launched a new product? Are there new skills that need to be onboarded? Is there a new process that needs to be brought in? Put that through Centrical, through micro learning, and then you can just reinvest that time, where you can also revisit that on a cadence that suits you, so that knowledge isn't then lost. Okay, and then as I mentioned, we have the ability to promote the well-being, give the employees a sense of purpose and belonging, so that because they will go elsewhere if they don't feel that. So why not have a well-being check-in and colleague collaboration elements as part of all of that? Okay, so that's my bit done. That's the that's the, I guess, the talk track for what it is we do and why we do it. We will be at the session on the 26th of April, which I'll talk about a little bit more at the end. So hopefully I'll see you some of you guys there. I'm now going to hand over to Thomas and Owen from Webhelp. Okay.
Right. Thanks, Ian. I have no idea how to top that speech. I mean, the majority of the content that is driving our day-to-day challenges and pains you have clearly introduced, but let's start around giving you a bit of insight about who is Webhelp on the next slide. So Webhelp is one of the global BPO leaders. We have just been recognized by Gartner as being in the top magic quadrant, what makes us very proud. There is 100,000 of us covering the globe, 80 languages that we do, 90 markets that we serve. We have the second largest entity footprint across the globe. That's also quite an achievement. And we consider us as a partner for our clients in anything that is customer service, BPO related. So you find us on designing operating models and defining strategies together with our clients, trying to grow with them in sales environments. We do a lot of customer care for global brands. We are in the digital marketing and content services environment. When it comes into finance, so know your customer, KYC, and also payment services is where we are positioned very, very well. And there is also a big part around selling technology, but also analytics and automation to our global clients. What is important to understand about Webhelp, and we truly live it that way, no matter who you will ask, they will give you the same response to that. We actually really live it this way. We're a people-first company. We put clients at heart, and that's not only a marketing statement. We can also support that with so much feedback that we get from the market. We consider us as passionate game changers. Good thing to say for sure. And we strive to enjoy every day. It's not only on management side to have exhaustive parties, but also recognizing individual success and performance on an agent level. And we really try to enjoy that every single day. Then on the right bottom, you see a list of clients. There's so many more. It's more than 1,300 across the globe in various sectors, just in a nutshell. The even more important stuff is then when it comes to Webhelp Anywhere. Webhelp Anywhere has just been very recently launched by us. It's a methodology. It is our response, and we also see it as a differentiator in the market, our response to, let's say, the ever-growing fight for talent in the market. That's something that has started some 10 years back and may last for another 20 years. That is what global analysts would say. It is also a response to the ever-growing need and requirement from our clients to scale at the highest possible talent quality, be as flexible as we could ever be, and that you cannot simply provide based on what is, let's say, considered legacy BPO doing, having fantastic and fancy sites everywhere on the globe. They will not support that changes in market. So what we came up with, we said, let's combine all the capabilities and expertise that we do have in the company. We are considered as one of the best shoring providers, and this is really what has made Webhelp so strong over the past 20 plus years. So providing services onshore, nearshore, and in offshore, and do combine that with the various delivery modes that do exist. So having agents on site, that means they work 100% in the office, or having agents in a hybrid environment. So they do provide services part of their weekdays from home, and part of their time in an office, but also virtual. And virtual here really means that we locate or allocate, find, attract talent no matter where they are. They have no site proximity whatsoever. We'll train them virtually. Before that, we have onboarded them, recruited them, but also performance manage them entirely virtually. So all that combined in this 9-box matrix is what we have framed under the Webhelp Anywhere methodology. So we do consult clients. We do try to find out what are the daily challenges, what's the pain point, what's the future vision and strategy around CX, and then based on the learnings, design something that is bespoke. You will never see us providing something from the shelf, say this is what we do for anyone, but design something that is 100% linked to the individual requirement of our client. On the next slide, because next to the methodology, it's great to then have something on paper and making it look nice. We also had to design, we call it a platform, but platform so often is related to technology. Let's also call it an ecosystem, where we can make sure that from what we based on-site business in the past is also relevant and can provide world-class excellence when it comes to hybrid, but also virtual engagements, so that we make sure that agents working, web helpers working for us and our clients feel safe, secure, and well supported in their environment, no matter where they are. There are 6 core modules that describe Webhelp Anywhere. We see them here in the middle section: talent, engagement, technology anywhere, security, performance, and resilience anywhere. And here's also where our friends from Centrical come into play, because 3 out of these 6 elements, especially when it comes to talent, but also engaging talent and making sure that talent provides performance, needs state-of-the-art support. And that's why we have partnered and why we are further developing this partnership at scale. So let's focus a little bit on these 3. Talent here describes that we have a harmonized way of recruiting people. So you will find any local Webhelp recruitment organization doing it in the same way, attracting people the right way, no matter if it's for on-site, for hybrid, or for virtual campaigns, making sure that talent that we try to attract feel welcome and kind of safe from the first touch point that we do have with them. Also training them, and not only agents, but also a team management is so important, especially in this more and more growing digital world. Then engagement, and Ian touched base on that really deeply already. Engagement is one of the most critical elements within CX business. It starts with onboarding, proper onboarding. If you cannot make an agent feel safe and comfortable from the first day that he receives a message from his new employer, or maybe his home office environment that we deliver to his home, we may lose them as early attrition within the first 3 months. So this is for sure not something that we want or can afford. So engagement, a proper onboarding, making sure that each individual feels safe and secure and part of a global organization, no matter where he is so important to us. When we talk about performance, it's a little different. I wouldn't say it's more difficult, but it's a little different to the classical approach of having agents sitting next to a team manager in an office, and they walk by the lines and touch people's head and try to find out how they feel and so on. Little different in the hybrid and the virtual world. So we need software support, we need structures, great processes in the background, making sure that an individual that we not necessarily get to see it 8 hours a day, but through webcams whenever there is a need, also can provide the same excellence as we would expect that from any on-site agent. So again, these 6 core elements here now in the performance execution and the operating execution are the second element, the platform, the ecosystem of Webhelp Anywhere. We have just taken that to market a couple of weeks ago. It has great feedback, great response in the market. We know that we are on the right path. We've been talking to so many global CX leaders who kind of confirmed to us that this is the right moment to sit and to design new operating models to start transforming their day-to-day routine as they do it today and shift it into something that is state of the art. So we believe we are at the right place. And maybe to end that slide with a recent quote that we received from one of the leading analyst firms, Frost & Sullivan, who called out that Webhelp Anywhere they see as one of the most forward-looking and comprehensive strategies for work from home. So we believe we have done the right thing, and we continue to further develop it to even higher excellence. So stay tuned and watch out for the results and more news that we share with you. I pause here, but then hand over. We show you a little video that we did together with Centrical that describes and illustrates nicely the engagement and partnership we have with Centrical, and then hand over to Johan, who will give you a bit more insights around the day-to-day results from the exercises. So to the video then, please, Ian.
So thank you, Thomas. As Thomas has mentioned, Centrical is one of the digital solutions which is part of the toolkit Webhelp Anywhere has put together, and together with other platforms and digital solution and processes and magic links, it ticks the boxes for these three main pillars: the performance, the engagement, and the talent part. So let me paint a picture of where we are and how we got here. So currently we are well out of the proof of concept, proof of vision, and also pilot phase, and where we have moved strongly into industrialization, where we're pushing for mass adoption. And actually, the way we got here was a very organic growth. And it all began like 3 years ago. So before COVID, before working from home being even a thing, where projects taking advantage of the autonomy that Webhelp as an organization encourages have been investigating different solutions for gamified engagement, gamification, performance, and so on and so forth. And we actually built something internally, then we looked into the market, and we saw great results for a couple of projects that had introduced Centrical. And out of these projects, we extracted different use cases that have emerged. And after we analyzed the data and the value that was produced, we realized it would be highly beneficial to have a global level concept around engagement and gamification. And that gave us reason enough to work collectively with Centrical in order to build this concept. And when we set out to build this concept, first of all, we were targeting all our service types. So as Thomas was mentioning, Webhelp projects, they come in different shapes and sizes. We're targeting different service types from customer care, sales, support, inbound, outbound. So we wanted to have this concept overarching for everything. Then we didn't want just another digital solution. We want it highly integrated in our WOW model, in our way of working model, and consistent with our global practices. And last but not least, we knew from the very beginning how important it is for integration to happen from the beginning, together with, so integration both with our digital ecosystem, but also with the general ecosystem in general. Ian was mentioning how the stack fits into different things from Centrical, and how Centrical can enhance and further develop that ecosystem. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to have this connectivity and automatically using and exchanging the data, because this eliminates a lot of the overhead and the time spent to manually integrate stuff, and it makes the adoption process so much smoother. So we actually came up with a project charter and some hypotheses. And we work, as I've mentioned, together with the Centrical customer success team. And I actually have written down the phrase that we wrote when we did this. So we said this: the more agents will engage with Centrical, they will consume and use the application in general, the better their performance will be, while attrition will drop due to results recognition and overall well-being. So that was a very bold statement, but over the last year, after we got into the global partnership with Centrical, we have some great numbers to show that will validate that are validating the hypothesis. So as you can see here in this slide, we've put the engagement part right in the middle. So it's a key factor and it drives the overall success. Currently, we're running at 80% engagement in Centrical. This means that basically users logging in and doing stuff in the platform, either checking results or consuming content or giving or receiving recognition and so on and so forth, are better performance and they are a key element of the general success. Yes, Centrical is complemented by other solutions and by processes, but we have the data to prove that it's a key differentiator. Currently, we're running, we have Centrical used by 4,000 users, as I've mentioned, in various project types and geographies. And we're heavily taking advantage of the internationalization feature in Centrical, as we are a global company and we use Centrical in more than 10 languages. Further to validate the hypothesis, it was proven that with high engagement comes lower attrition, and we're currently seeing a 5% drop in attrition, which is really big for our industry, because we're seeing a direct link between Centrical engagement and attrition drop. And not only that, productivity also increased. As far as productivity definition, different projects have very different tracked KPIs, but we can iron it out. We can average it out to an 8% increase in productivity. One last thing that I want to say is, as we're currently deep into the mass adoption and scaling phase, one other thing that helped us a lot was introducing a community around Centrical. And this helped tremendously with adopting the platform. And we have in this community platform admins and content managers and basically everyone that's interested, and they are collaborating and sharing information, they're sharing knowledge, they're sharing practices. But not only those things are shareable. One big thing that we learned adopting this scale is content sharing is really, really important. There's a lot of commonalities that we found in content to be shared, and we are definitely leveraging this in scaling the Centrical adoption. And on the next slide, I'll actually talk to you a little bit about some facts from a real use case. Data is a little bit outdated. It's the third quarter of last year, but let me show you some of those numbers. So we extracted here a use case that's very similar to the common concept. And in order to paint this picture, we've divided it in three sections: the game, the users, and some facts. Let's talk a little bit about this game template, or the common game template. So what we ended up choosing was we selected this race car template for a game with monthly iteration, which is not always, I mean, for this client, it's a monthly thing, but the iterations are linked with the incentives on the project. And then as far as the game mechanics, we use Centrical as an information radiator. So we extract and we ingest automatically data in order for agents to be able to visualize real time, or as close as real time, their performance data. And of course, they're also receiving points based on achieving their KPIs. Not only agents are doing this, but also team managers use Centrical in order to keep a close eye on the team and individual performance, so they can act quickly with different features in the application, such as missions or coaching or challenges and giving recognition. But they're also taking advantage of the AI-powered solution that Centrical is providing, and Ian mentioned before. Another thing, part of the game mechanics, is the ability of agents to get access to tailored content. So, well, there's a big amount of content in the platform where you can further enhance it and publish it according to the needs. It's really important not to have this generic to everybody, because I'm a certain level and Thomas is so many steps ahead of me. So what is relevant for me, it's not necessarily relevant for others. So the tailored content, it's really, really important. And this is a great way to target everybody's context and situation. This content, it's either freshly produced out of the box by content managers, leveraging the features in the application, or we're also using Centrical as a launchpad to other learning opportunities, such as external LMS systems. By the way, it includes an LMS, a very strong LMS model. So everything at the end of the day is fitted in Centrical. And when I'm mentioning content, one other thing comes to mind. It's the fact that we've made sure to really balance out the work-related stuff, but we don't only want to bombard our co-workers with work-related, and keep on piling the work-related materials. We want it to be fun as well. So here where the fun element come into play, either for content, or we have agents basically playing in-app games that Centrical has developed. For the engagement part, the kudos and recognition functionality is really a big part of the experience, and we were encouraging as far as process and things inside our teams to always find reasons to recognize either team or individual performances. And one nice thing that I absolutely love about this, it's that the kudos are being recognized with points, and it's earning you points both when you receive and when you give this recognitions. And then everything wraps up in leveling up, where you receive other type of currencies. We call them diamonds. Actually, Centrical calls them diamonds. And then at the end of the day, everything it's being spent in this in-app store when you can purchase monetary or non-monetary items. So it's not only about the flat TV or the headphones, it's also about the non-monetary stuff, things such as having priority for shift scheduling or something around those lines. So if I move on to the middle section, to the users, here we have sort of a picture of the, let's say, average project. We have projects, we have one project that it's higher than 1,000 agents, but we know that at least in this stage, we won't be targeting projects or campaigns that are lower than, let's say, 25 agents. So for this project, the data for last quarter is 133 agents. Since then, we moved to 200 agents. We have for this one 2 project managers working in different business lines. We have different tools that are being used by the teams, both telephony, chat, email, and so on and so forth. And everything from the senior team leaders to the team leaders and the team coaches and quality controllers, which also play a good role, an important role, because there are quizzes into Centrical that are being assessed so that the content consumed is validated. Everything is linked. All these people are working together with a Centrical admin that we have allocated part-time to this project, that it's making sure that the platform is being used to its maximum capacity, and it builds the content and it builds the engagement, and it facilitates the interactions between everybody. And on the right column, we have some facts here. So as I've mentioned, we are for this project right there at 80% average number of logins and activities. So basically that means 4 days out of 5. As far as the number of interactions for coaching exercises, we're currently at 33, and here again we're using a combination for in-app and real-time coaching. The number of challenges that the team members or the quality controllers create are also very, very important. We have these missions, which is the way that based on your level, you're consuming the content. We have quite a lot of number of badges that it's being awarded. And by the way, this is fully integratable with social media. There's a big number of points that has been awarded. And we introduced after 3 months in this for this customer. This is basically what we found that the sweet spot is. So you allow people to accumulate the points, and then in around 2-3 months, you're introducing the store as well, where people can spend those points. And I've mentioned I'm a huge fan of the kudos feature. I left it for last, but it's definitely not the least important. So we have more than 10,000 kudos and recognition being sent out. So in the end, I want to mention another thing that Centrical. I presented one use case. Let's call it the main use case, but Centrical can definitely be adopted for other use cases. Ian has mentioned onboarding. By the way, we are happy to be an award winner for one of the programs from the Learning and Performance Institute. We also saw experiences and experiments with pre-boarding. We also have Centrical being used for the learning and development activity. So while we have only showcased part of the Webhelp Anywhere, the main use case, there are more that can be implemented with Centrical. So I think that's it. This is in a nutshell our experience with Centrical, and I'm really happy with the progress, and we will keep investing in the partnership that at the end of the day is benefiting our agents, our customers, and the business in general.
That's great. Thanks, guys, and thanks everyone for. I see we've got some questions in the chat, which is fantastic. Just a quick note, just on this slide, we've got our QR code up on the screen here. So if you want to take some time just to give this a scan, if you want to sign up for our newsletter, get some further insights and customer stories, which are exclusive for our forum members, just give that QR code a scan. And just finally, we're going to be running demos at Centrical at the 26th conference up here in Newcastle. So we're happy to talk over that over a drink and just show you a bit more of the platform and bring to life what we've been talking about today. So Chris, questions in the chat?
Yeah, so we've got questions in the chat. I'm just conscious that we've kind of reached our time.
Yeah.
It's 1:15. It's flown by, as it always tends to do with such great content and such great insight into kind of what Webhelp have been doing with the platform. So I think there's what we'll do, if it's all right with you, Ian, is we'll take the questions offline and respond out to the attendees based on that, and we can kind of just write out and put some questions there. I think the key things that people are looking at is going, things like how does the data match up? So how do we ensure we've got a decent data cycle that runs through? So when it's doing prompting for coaching and triggering that to do personalized learning, it's understanding those data points. Other things around, in different regions around how do we deal with workers' councils and unions and stuff like that and impact. So things that we could probably take a bit of time to get into and time that we probably don't have right now to get into it. So for everyone that's on, we'll take them offline. Ian and I'll put responses together and we'll send those out to the attendees if that's okay with everyone.
Yep.
So so I just want to say thank you. It's been an absolutely, for me, I think, and probably for a lot of people listening, there's a lot of stuff here that we've not really seen a lot of in terms of this community within the forum. and it is something that we've got to be really mindful of. I think learning and engagement and being able to do things in a way that kind of, engages everybody and includes everybody is really powerful in today's market, especially when we are having a challenge around attrition and skills development and various other things that we've been talking about over the last few months here at the forum. So really, really, pleased that Centrical are on board and that we're starting to share some of these stories. So I think there'll be a lot of value for people to take this away and look at how we can build that into their ongoing operating models. So, for me, I just wanted to say thank you to you, Ian, for coming on and sharing Centrical as a technology, and to the Webhelp team, so Thomas and Johan, thank you very much for coming on and sharing the Webhelp story. I think it helps bring that to life with some really interesting results and a really interesting approach into how you roll that out into the organisation.